Hey, welcome to the Friday, March 25th special council meeting. The first line of business here is to accept a resignation from our Public Works Director, Ted Strand. Ted, I will make a little comment about that. I do that in great hopes for you. I'm more than glad for you. I think you'll be getting back to your family and your farm and all the stuff you want to do, so good luck to you. And
I'll make a motion to accept Ted Strand's resignation and thank him for his service.
I will second that with great sadness.
I would like to make a comment that I just am reluctantly accepting it. Okay. And thank you for all the things you've done for Cross Lake.
I would like to thank Cross Lake, all the residents, all of the groups that I've worked with all these years. Everybody's been great. I really enjoyed my career. This was not planned. I was going to retire here in a few years and keep on going. But the opportunity came. As the mayor says, I'm going back to where my wife is at, and I'll be home every night. And
yeah,
so, but anyway, thank you.
good for you. Well, you're leaving this town well respected, Ted.
Thank you.
So that's a motion and a second. Shar, do you want to do your roll call? Oh, we don't need to? Okay.
Oh, Dave's not here?
Okay.
You still need to take a vote though.
Oh, okay. All in favor of accepting?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Vote taken, accepted. Okay, next, now I'm not sure what this is. Appoint wastewater treatment plant signatory and discuss need to negotiate with ASMA a compensation for duty. So what is that? What does that mean?
Somebody has to be designated as the signature with my leaving to sign the DMRs, the permits for the wastewater plant. It needs to be the licensed operator that's here, which would now,
Nate.
assuming Nate will be that position. So the mayor has to sign this form, and we execute it, send it in the state. There's about 5 forms, but this one's the one that needs the mayor's signature.
Okay,
That's a monthly form.
Yes.
And remind me, what class are we?
We're a
Licensed?
B facility
B?
with a type 4 sludge disposal.
Okay.
and Nate has got a B license.
He's got both the license and qualifies as that. The other staff have licenses, but they're lower grade licenses.
Yeah, okay. Nate's the man.
Okay.
And then as far as the wage, I just assumed there would be some kind of compensation. So that's got to be negotiated. So
Yeah, that's probably Monday, right? We're meeting with AFSCME. That would be the time we'll take care
Whatever
of that.
it will be, that wage will be effective next Thursday or Friday.
I'm here through Friday.
Yeah, so Nate, whatever happens, it'll be.
Oh, I see what you're saying. We can discuss that on.
I mean, we'll discuss it,
Okay.
we'll come up with a
I-
plan.
I'm good at that, but I think we need to appoint him now so that the forms get sent in.
Yes, if you could just make the appointment of that signatory, it would be.
Yeah, and I'll make the motion that we appoint.
Yeah,
I've called you Nate, my whole, your last name, I apologize. Huh? Diaz, okay. I make a motion to appoint Nate.
Second.
okay, and is that title just as signatory? Is that what you call it?
That's what we're doing.
Yeah,
That's what I'm assuming until something's negotiated. So.
yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so we have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, opposed? Congrats, Nate. Let's see, next, what do we have? A few things here. Discuss assignment of temporary duties for supervising the public works. Can we just pick this up Monday?
Yeah, I agree. I think Monday. I don't know why we do
We
it now.
don't need to do that right now.
No.
Well, why are we doing that? Don't we, isn't that why we have Mike?
No, we have to, that's like Cheryl, when she took over as interim. We need to decide that, and I think as long as we're talking with the union, do it on Monday.
But they'll come recommendations, we'll have a discussion, yeah. So I would say let's put that off till Monday and think about it over the weekend and see what we're gonna do. Number 5 is discuss hiring process to fill Public Works Director position and direct staff to negotiate with MNP through the labor attorney a salary range. So I'm in favor of advertising for the position, and anybody and everybody can apply for it. But I'd like to take a look.
I'll make a motion that we advertise the position.
Second.
Okay, any other discussion on that?
I think when we do that, with the council's permission, would you like to each get a copy of the current job description to make
I would,
sure
yeah.
that's what
Yeah.
you'd like to do?
Yep.
Then what I would suggest, because we are in a bargaining unit environment, that we handle the salary range the same that we did for planning and zoning, and work with our labor attorney and the MNPA representative to develop an acceptable range.
Because you're not going to publish this advertisement till after Monday anyway, are you? I mean, when do you
Well, no,
have to have
it's
it
too
in?
late to get into next week's paper right now.
Okay.
But we should publish it with the range because that's
Yeah.
what's going to attract somebody.
I think if we hold off on that until Monday, and,
Could we discuss that range during the negotiations? Is that a good,
it's asked me, I don't know why not,
yeah.
negotiations, so, right? Or,
Well, this is not an AFSCME. We have two issues.
oh, that's it. Oh,
One-
that position's MP, isn't it?
One we have is compensation for what we approved on item number 3 on the agenda. And the second one the one we're talking about now is to discuss and negotiate a salary range with MNP and the city. Those are two different issues. One's AFSCME, one's MNP.
So Mike, are we gonna do a temporary negotiation until we decide what to do full-time, as we did with Cheryl?
That's what number 4 is to discuss what we want to do for supervision duties. You know, typically when you've got a union shop, in this case, the workers in the union, we do not have a supervisory position in AFSCME. If you want one within AFSCME, that's a policy decision. We'd need to negotiate with the union. The current supervisor of that department is in the MNP union. So you've got some things to think about. You want to keep that position in the supervisor's union, which is MNPA, or do you want to have some other type of arrangement for structure within those departments that you'd want to negotiate? It's really easy to move people between jobs when they're in the same union. Where you run into challenges in the collective bargaining rules is when you have two different unions where one's supervisory and one's non-supervisory, when those supervisory positions in one union don't exist today, but they do in the other.
But didn't we do that with Cheryl? Cheryl was in AFSCME, and the supervisor position was in MP.
We did, but we
So-
negotiated that.
Yeah, right,
We
and
should
that's
do
what we're
it
saying.
Monday Also,
We
pick
could.
that up in the conversation on Monday.
So we can, because we do have the way, no, we don't. Sorry, I'm thinking AFSCME, and
Yeah,
I
and
should
we
be
did that,
thinking
and we
MP.
used that as a time slot to develop a wage until the job was posted and went from there.
I assume you're going to talk to Jessica today, or have, and tell her what's coming Monday?
She's in favor of what I just described.
She is, okay,
Yes.
good.
So the decision will be made on Monday.
That's up to the council.
Hopefully, yeah.
Oh, we will, we can.
We likely would not have a response from MNP on Monday for a
So
range.
MNP has to approve that salary
That's a
range?
negotiated wage range, yes.
But they haven't approved any of the wages yet.
Yes, they have. They approved they were in favor of the wage range the council approved for the planning and zoning administrator.
Yes, but we have not approved any MP wages.
You've approved one,
Negotiated.
planning and zoning. The rest you have not.
Yeah.
I'm suggesting we handle this in a similar fashion.
Yeah, I'm good with that.
I'm sorry I'm such a pain.
Atta girl, Shar. Okay, so anyway, we're gonna take this up Monday. Try to clean it up. Figure it out. So the last one is discussion with Ted as far as consultation. Are you okay with that, first of all? Yes. So if we gotta call Ted and ask questions, which I'm sure we're going to have to, he's taken a world of knowledge with him. Who wants to throw out a suggestion for how we pay that or what we do? I would probably suggest a range of hours, so you're not getting called at 11 o'clock at night, out of respect to. And then-
Well, I think we should have Ted submit a proposal.
I'd be
for
fine with
consulting.
that too, if you can do that.
I can write something up real quick. Have it to you for Monday.
Some kind of a contract. I'm
But
good
I
with,
mean,
I'm
if
good
you
with
got
that,
a
Ted.
10-minute phone call, that's good. There might be something where we might have to ask you to come back here for something, so,
Then we understand.
yeah,
In
so,
fact, I told the new employer that might happen.
yeah, so
Arrange
think
for,
about it and we'll talk about it again,
Okay.
but, yeah. Anybody else have anything to add to that? You got something?
I don't know if it's exactly what you're talking about, I've got a few things written down.
Well, come on up, Tom, if you want to say something. I guess as long as it's in regards to this subject that we're talking about.
Yeah, it all
Yeah.
relates to that. And one of them was what you're talking about, the dollar amount for Ted to, consult. There's a couple of things, and I guess I'm wearing my commissioner's hat right now. The lift stations, originally it was $500,000, and then you figured out something else where it'd be somewhere around 50,000 to upgrade them. Are you working with Bolton and Mink on that? Have they been ordered or?
Work was completed yesterday.
Okay, great.
that was a simple one.
Yeah.
It's training in about a week's time, and the work was completed.
Okay. And then you're going to advertise, I guess my question is, where are you going to advertise and for how long? I went on the League of Minnesota Cities website, and I didn't read job descriptions. I just read sort of the title that they had in there. There are so many jobs out there right now. It took me 45 minutes to just be reading the kind of the basic titles. I mean, it's just pages and pages.
People looking for
People looking for workers.
workers.
And so, I hope we're not just going to throw it in the Echo and the Brainerd paper.
No. Actually, there were about 430 job descriptions out there.
Yeah.
I think there were maybe 15 of those pages were police officers.
Yeah. So,
And the easy way to sort through that going forward is put a dollar range in there, and that eliminates all the low-end ones.
and that was kind of where I was going with this when you're, I think when people are looking at all those, the ones that say salary dependent on qualifications,
Get
you know,
dismissed.
I think you have to have that range in there so people know, okay.
Gets their attention.
This is a job I want to go after. And I don't know, Ted, if there's any other places other than the league, if there's a
Rural water?
wastewater, water.
Yeah, there's two other journals that I would suggest. Well, there's three. You could do it in Minnesota Rural Water Association. That's a very good, and there's a number of positions in there also. You could do it in MWA, which is Minnesota Wastewater Operators Association, and you could do it at AWWA, which is American Water Workers Association. All three of those are national, or four of those are national.
Yeah. But and I think this is an important position where, I think you gotta, probably get it in those places and leave it in there for 3 or 4 weeks. It's not a rush to replace Ted. You wanna get it out there and see, who's available, and, I'm hoping that, a job in Cross Lake is something that,
It's attractive.
would be attractive to people, but,
So Todd, let me follow up on that just a little bit now. In the job description, does the new Public Works Director have to be a licensed sewer operator?
I don't know, I
Since
haven't seen the.
We
I think
have the licensed sewer operator
Yeah.
here, so does,
Dan Vogt, I think, changed all the job descriptions after I left, and so I don't know what the new job description looks like, but, I think, you could always word it, a Class B operator's license or ability to obtain within 1 year, or something like that, so.
The job description says considerable knowledge of the operation of a Class B wastewater mechanical treatment plant and wastewater collection. It doesn't say you have to have a license, but you have to have considerable knowledge on that.
so.
That's what it says in
Yeah.
here.
Could be worded stronger.
I think so. I would, if I were here,
That's why I wanted
I
to
would
send
say
out
you're gonna want your supervisor to be licensed. And it's great that you've got an employee that's already licensed and that gets you through it, but, I would think for this type of position, you should have that. And,
That might be difficult to do, though.
well, that's why I'm saying, there may be, people with Class C licenses out there that, it'll take them some time to, and that's why you would word it that ability to obtain within a reasonable time or 1 year or something like that. And I don't know what the qualification, you have to work under somebody or work for so long and,
Be working in the C plant, and to write the B, you have to be working or going to be working in a B plant, and then pass the exam.
Could you speak into a microphone, Ted?
Do you have to work 2 years to get the license, to be able to take the test?
I think it's 3 now,
Oh, it's 3 now?
yeah.
Okay.
But you have to be working in a plant that is a B facility, successfully pass the exam, and have that 3 years minimum experience.
Oh, experience, okay.
Yeah, they're big on experience.
It's time and testing, so.
Well, Michael sent us each
Yeah.
one of us, so we can each one read through it
Yeah,
and
and
study it.
the other thing, we should make sure that they understand it's not a desk job,
yeah.
that you have to go out and use heavy equipment and lighter equipment and tools, so that it reads in the job description, the supervisory and the working, and the Class B.
And I'm going to read something. This is my job description, my current job description.
Yeah.
The last is minimum qualifications. Must possess a valid Class B wastewater operator's
Oh, it
license.
does.
4 years of public works experience, DOT drug and testing requirements, and have at least a Class B driver's license.
Okay, I stand corrected. I was looking at
it's on the
one-
last page.
The last page. Oh, yeah.
Another thing, I don't know if it's in there, and maybe you want to consider adding it if it's not, is similar to the police department where, you can't tell somebody they have to live in the city, but you can put in response time so that, I don't know what the police is, a 10-minute response time to the city limits or however that's worded, but, just so this is kind of a job where when a lift station goes down at 3 in the morning, you don't want somebody living in Crosby or Brainerd or,
They've got a
want-
30, 40-minute response plus getting dressed.
Yeah, so that may be something you want to add to the job description. And then, on the, we were gonna update the 5-year plan, and that maybe falls under, when the new guy or girl comes in, that Phil is working with them, but that's probably where, we would want some input from Ted.
Phil and I have already been working on it.
Okay. And then another one that kind of falls on TJ is moving that building. I don't know if you're the one that has been talking to the mover or whether that's a joint thing, but, just so that doesn't fall by the wayside.
We've already discussed it, talked about it. I've turned everything pretty much that I have over to him.
Okay.
And we're still working on the last couple quotes. So
Okay.
it's in progress.
And then lastly, is there gonna be any kind of recognition for Ted, coffee and tea or cake or something?
As people know me, I'm not a person of that.
I know you're
That
not,
kind,
but,
I'm not that,
but you deserve it.
well, I appreciate everything that everybody's saying about me and thanking everybody for that. But that's really not my type. So when they asked me about it, I kind of said, I'm not the biggest, I'm sorry. I'm just not that type of person. I'd rather go have a slice of pizza with the guys I work with and maybe a drink afterwards and say goodbye. And I'm here, like I said, I'm going to be keeping my phone. Anybody needs me, they can call me anytime. So I have a big part of my life in this community, so.
Well, I'll just say at this point, it was a pleasure working with you,
Thank you, Tom.
both on the commission and as city administrator. You did a heck of a job for 20-some years.
And I appreciate everything, guidance and everything you helped me with over those years.
I was fortunate enough to go out with Ted and have a little dinner last night. Appreciate that. So, yeah, no, I respect whatever
I also would like to make a motion that the applications that we receive would be reviewed by the Personnel Committee.
Well, okay, that's a motion. I'll second that, but who do we all want to be a part of?
We all want to be a part of it, Dave.
Yeah, coming up with the job description, what do we want to
That's
do?
why I'm asking Mike to send it to all of us.
Yeah,
So we're going to go with the negotiation committee. That's fine, too.
Okay.
Okay, I'll make my motion that the city council should review all the applications and rate them.
okay, second that.
Yeah.
I don't know if I should take it, Joe, until we vote. He wants to say something.
I think Pam does too.
Aaron, who made the second?
Me.
This time? Okay.
I think I did, or did
Let's
you?
have some discussion on that. I just think that some of that is staff function and that city council does not need to be rating applicants.
Okay. Any other discussion on that?
I think you go along with what John is saying. I'm not sure that I'm actually qualified to go through and say this person should be in the final group or not. I've never done that. It's not something I've never done. I'm not so sure I'd be all that comfortable with it.
You don't need a degree in rating. It's pretty simple.
I've read
Well,
hundreds of
But if
applications.
the whole city council doesn't want to, then I guess I'll, do you want me to change it back to the personnel committee? Because that's fine too.
I think these are staff functions.
No.
I disagree with you too, John. I just would like to review it. I'd like to be a part of it, so.
I worry about, if you're going to do that, then I'm going to put a parameter on it. You have to come into here, you sit down in a conference room by yourself or with Mike, I would get, or Shar, one of the two of them, and you go through them. I think for us to take them, have them at home, have them on our computer, whatever, I think that's wrong. And I think that's dangerous to do.
No one said we were going to take them home. We'll do it here.
Putting a parameter on it.
And Mike is part of the personnel committee, so I think we got it covered.
As long as we do it here and we don't drag anything anywhere. Does that make sense?
That's fine, yeah. Okay, so what are you gonna do? Change your motion to the personnel committee review it?
Yes, personnel.
Okay, I'll second
I
that,
thought
I
we,
guess.
I thought we had already had
You
a
didn't
motion.
want the negotiation.
No, I say if you're going to review them, fine, but you come in here and you review them. You don't take them out of the building.
Yeah, but you are saying, first you said that you didn't want the entire council doing it, so I changed it to personnel.
That's fine.
Okay,
Keep it to the personnel, or to the group, the whole group. But we have to come in here to review them. That's all I'm saying.
but you're missing it. Either it's the city council or the personnel committee.
City council.
The city council, you're changing it back. Okay, I'll change my motion. I'm sorry, Shar. It's, yeah, okay, I'll change my motion to the entire city council will review the applications that are received for Public Works Director.
Just review or review it?
Review and rate.
Okay, anybody else second that? With some discussion, though, I mean, I'd like, there should be discussion on what we want to put in the job description for the Public Works Director, and it doesn't have to be, I'd just like to be part of that discussion. I don't know if you want to be part of that?
I don't care, I have another comment about what you're talking about right now.
That should happen, though, before
Okay. Yeah,
you
exactly.
post the job.
Yeah.
The job
right.
description should
Because
be
you're
done.
going to hand out the job description. So is it the only thing that well, nobody else has read it, so I guess maybe Monday we could review it.
You know, and
I
even
don't
to extend that to you, Ted, if you can think of something that, you know, is there something not in there?
No, in fact, Shar asked me this morning to review my description, and I had dug it out last week when I knew this was coming up. I reviewed it, I think it's quite thorough. You know, it's part Tom, part Dan, Lloyd that did it. It's a very thorough job description.
Nothing you feel like
Nothing
missing
I
or,
feel that it doesn't cover what we do.
okay.
There isn't a new law on response time, is there? I know you can't make them live here, but is there on response time?
Half hour.
Is it in there? I just pulled it out.
I know I've said this before up here about the whole council negotiating with unions and this sort of falls in the same category. You know, I think it's crazy that the whole council negotiates with unions because the union can always say to you, well, I'll take it back to my people and see what they say. When you guys are all sitting there and you say, yeah, we'll agree to this, you've lost your negotiating power about, okay, well, we can bring it back to the council and see. It doesn't help your negotiating power when you're negotiating, but what I'm gonna say now is if the whole council is gonna review applications, that's gonna be a council meeting, and it almost has to be a closed meeting because until you get to the point where you've determined finalists, the names and all, the applications are all confidential. They're,
The union agrees with you. They can't believe that the whole council does that also. But this body up here does not seem to think that it's okay for Mike, Marcia, and I to be, which is the personnel committee, to carry that forward. That's why we always go back and we appoint the whole council to do it.
but what I'm saying now is, I think Mike can back me up on this, until you get to the
Until you get to the
ranking and
finalists.
breaking it down to, okay, these are our 5 finalists, then those names become public. If the whole council has a stack of 20 applications, you can't be discussing it in an open meeting.
They
and trying
don't
to-
have to all come in at the same time and look at them, though.
Well,
They
we
can come
we
in one
can,
at
but
a
we could
time.
number them, just use numbers. Every application could have a number on it. That's how
Right.
they handle it.
Okay.
Right.
That's why John is saying it should be a staff function to rate them.
Well, historically, the
Well,
personnel committee has always
either
been made up of the
staff
mayor,
or the
council, and
personnel
staff.
committee. I mean, why do you have a personnel committee
Yeah.
if you don't use it? You know, you've got your city administrator
Well,
on
if you
there.
want to, if you start pushing that scenario, Tom, the personnel committee is going to go away. So, I don't want it to go away, okay?
What's gone away?
22,
Where is
no,
it? It's gone
23,
now.
it'll be back,
Yeah.
okay? So until then, what, can we, and stop the arguments, okay?
Cheryl and Peter over there.
You know, to Tom's point, he's correct in saying, until you determine who the final applicants are that you're considering, you know, that's really confidential. And the reason they do that is because you want to make sure that every applicant agrees to have their name be public. Because let's say they're applying for the position and their employer doesn't know it. You really don't want to put people in an awkward position with that until you really get down to, here's your group. Now, if you remember, the way that we handled this when we hired TJ is we had a similar situation where we said, you know what, we were down to our group. We had a public interview with them. We had an open house where we invited the community to come in and meet. Here's our candidates for the park director position. And we really put a lot of people in an awkward position. And then we had a very public debate on, well, I want to hire TJ for that position, or no, I don't, and here's why, while they're all sitting in the audience. Those are awkward situations, but, you know, not everything we do in government is clean like that. But it worked. When we did hired the planning and zoning administrator, we had a similar process to that. We didn't have an open house. We didn't have a meet and greet, but we had a public process. There are those that want to know who the applicants are the minute they show up in the door. And then there are those that saying, wait a second, let's let staff make sure that the people that are applying for this position meet the minimum requirements of the job. That's really what the staff function in this is to make sure that the people are brought forth for consideration have met that minimum requirement. So now that you've done that, then you can go rate them. And I can tell you from a lot of experience in hiring people, is not everyone that scores well works out. Not everyone that scores on the bottom is the worst candidate. Sometimes they're the best one. You just have to ferret that out through the interview process. But whatever that is, you know, we'll get to where we need to be. We'll attract a number of applicants, but I think we've got a well-defined process laid out to say we're in a bargaining unit environment, and we have to be respectful of that. And so we might get one applicant and we might get 50. And it might take a little time to get there. So whether or not that's done at personnel or at the full council, in the end, it really doesn't matter. We're going to get to where we need to be.
I think you had a couple of people wanted to talk to you.
Well, we're in the middle of voting then.
Yeah, I just, you know, the process, the job description, I'd like to have a little input or at least look through it, what it's gonna be before it goes, you know, that's all.
Well, that's why I asked for the job
Joe,
description
come on
to be
up.
sent to us.
If you guys want a copy before you leave today, I can give those to you before you leave today.
Yeah, I'd like to, Charlie.
Yep.
What do you got, Joe?
I just maybe have a suggestion on Ted's position. Is there a way, can you break up the wastewater part of it and the roads part of it? Is that possible? Because Nate's, you know, carries a license for the wastewater plant. And let's say, I'll just use me as an example, you know, I've been here for 8 years and I have a lot of knowledge of the city roads and, you know, all the stuff that goes behind the scenes. So maybe there's a way to separate that, two of them.
We can't answer that, the union can.
Sure.
You know how that goes.
Yeah, absolutely.
We can't be changing job description and stuff without the union
Yeah.
agreeing to it.
Or if you write a new one or whatever you guys are doing, just suggestion.
Mm-hmm.
And Ted, thank you very much for your service, and it's been amazing working with you for the last 8 years, and I appreciate everything that you've done for me and taught me, and it's been an honor. Thank you.
Tough to leave you guys.
Yeah.
Tough to leave everybody.
Thank you.
So, come on, Pam. Whatever we do, it's gonna be a process that we gotta figure out, you know? Whether we can find a public works director who's got the wastewater license, you know, that's yet to be seen. Maybe we'll have to totally separate it, so. Yeah, Pam.
Pam Graves, Sugarloaf Road, Cross Lake. I just want to say to Ted, thank you. For your years, for your responsiveness, for your creativity when Mother Nature sometimes talks to us in a way that we don't necessarily appreciate. And thank you for training the people that are going to be stepping in, and whatever it's called, negotiated, whatever, they're here. I'm sorry you don't like cupcakes. I don't bake, so I'm not offering any, but Ted, thank you for everything you've done for the city.
Thanks, Pam. So what are we deciding to do here? Motion on the floor? I don't.
Still a motion on the
All
floor.
right, let's take care of
That's
that. What was it? What was the?
I've changed it so many times. I believe it was the city council reviews the applications and rates the,
And do you want to put on there that you come in one at a time and it's not going to be a council meeting type of?
One or two, but yeah, not more than two. Yeah, so can you
Do you want
write?
to put that in your motion, that it's not more than 2 at a time?
so why do we want to do that? We could do a numbering system and not say names and get it down to,
So you want to have a special council meeting to do though?
But then it's gonna be a public meeting.
Well, we would.
you're using numbers, you're not using names.
All related, I believe we can close it.
I don't think,
Can't we?
I don't think so.
I don't think so.
No, you just,
Then 1 or 2 at a
You
time?
could use a number system, but, you know, I don't think the whole council, it should be available to the council to review it.
oh yeah,
I don't,
I'm not disagreeing. Okay, 1 or 2 at a time, if that's the only way you're going to do it.
so, you'd like it available to the whole council, make a motion
Yes.
to make it available to the whole council for review. Not as a public meeting though, individually or something, or whatever makes sense to you to write it. Is that okay, Marcia?
I'll make a motion that each council person has the opportunity to review all the applications and rate them for the Public Works Director.
Okay. Does anybody want to second that?
I thought you had.
Well, I had, but this is kind of a new, this is,
I'll second it.
okay. Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Opposed.
What was that?
I'm opposed, yes.
Okay, so it's 3-1. What's next?
Adjourn? So move.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. We're adjourned.